topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Tennessee. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Hey, this next expert coming on with us, this area of expertise is so important to me because I went through all kind of problems when it came to Medicare. And thank God I have got people like Randy Hall, who is a Medicare agent. And what's great about Randy is he's an independent Medicare agent, which means he can provide you many different companies. I got to tell you, my first Medicare agent here in Florida offered me one plan. And he was an independent, supposedly, offered me one plan. And it took me doing shows like this that I should have had a lot more choices. Let me welcome you, because we are going to learn for the next 25 minutes why it's so important to have an agent like Randy Hall. Good morning, Randy.
Top of the morning to you and Happy New Year to everybody out there.
Hey, I love the name of your company, Mr. Nice Guy Medicare. I love that.
Well, it's true. It's not just hype. It's not marketing. It's a fact, Jack, as my dad used to say. That's a fact, Jack.
Yes.
No, I mean, it gives me something to live up to. You know what I mean? You know, I can't go around just belittling people out in public. I've got a higher standard that I've got to raise my act to.
Randy, what I've learned from doing the shows with you, you really do care about your clients. And I got to tell you, there is so much that can go wrong when you basically try to handle this yourself. I want to tell you something. I don't know if I shared this with you, but I'm always doing different types of due diligence. I called a couple of the national ads people see on TV about Medicare. So I was calling these companies direct, Randy.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, what I've learned is you can get 2 or 3 different answers from the same company by 2 or 3 different people.
Oh man, that
blew me away.
It's a free-for-all out there, Steve-O. I don't know any other way to say it. We're a heavily regulated industry. However, the bad actors, like the companies you called, unfortunately, tend to have a high percentage of bad actors. They're not looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves. And here's what's wild about what I do is I'm free to the person, to the client. I don't cost any money, but not using somebody like me can cost you a lot if you're relying on people who aren't looking for your best interests. Now, some are and some aren't. I guess the only way you can know is by trying it out. You can also do research. You know, I usually say on these programs, if you're really looking for somebody, you want somebody who's not affiliated with a particular company, say like Humana or Aetna. You don't want to just talk to a siloed agent because all they can offer you is that company. Now, when you're dealing with somebody like me, you can look up independent Medicare agent, independent Medicare broker in the county you live in, and see what comes up. and you probably get several, options. And if there are Google reviews, try to look at them, because those Google reviews, as long as there's at least, I'd say 10 or more, they're going to give you some information about what it's like to deal with that person. I mean, it's not foolproof, but I feel like that's a lot more strategic than just dialing up the number of JJ or Joe Montana, not Joe Montana, Joe Namath. Sorry, I'm not trying to besmirch Joe Montana's name. Joe Namath, calling up those guys, Henry Winkler, what have you.
Yeah.
I mean, calling up those companies, the odds are not in your favor that you're going to get somebody reliable, and number two, who you'll ever talk to again. So when you deal with an independent agent, hopefully we'll have a relationship going forward. Like every year, if you're on an Advantage plan, or if you have a supplement and a drug plan, every year you want to look at either your drug plan or your Advantage plan. And that's what a good agent's going to do. They're going to at least look at your situation annually. So that's my.
What I've learned from you, Randy, is so you hear about all these special offers that these insurance companies are offering, but what's I've learned from you is it could be different by county.
Right. Yeah.
And
when it comes to Advantage,
a blanket statement when it comes to Medicare.
Well, so what you're speaking to are Medicare Advantage plans specifically. Those vary by the county you live in. So if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, yes, that's why they ask for the zip codes. Now,
Yes.
If you're on a supplement, now that's actually a national situation, because Medicare is primary, and then whatever your supplement company is, that's good nationwide, because when Medicare is primary, that travels anywhere in America. And then the supplement pays, if Medicare pays, the supplement pays right behind it. And then the standalone drug plans that are attached to those, or you buy your own standalone one, those vary by state. You see, if I just blew your mind, or you're like, I can't follow what this guy's saying, that's another reason why you need a reliable agent,
Right.
because they're going to explain it to you in a way that you can understand. You see what I mean?
Doing the show and being involved in this, I can give different examples, and I've shared this with you before. I really wanted my orthopedic surgeon to be in my plan, and it turned out he was in my plan. But then when I went to go make an appointment with him, which I had to go through my provider, they said, he's not in your plan. I said, but here it is right here. And they said, well, we have a different plan. We have our own little group. And I wasn't even able to use that orthopedic surgeon because my first agent didn't do enough due diligence.
Right. So what you're speaking about there, that's a very uncommon situation in my state. There used to be a plan that would do that, and that plan isn't around or anymore, but it's transformed. I guess they don't do that. But this agent should have known when he was putting you on it that, hey, they call it an iPod is what they call it.
Oh, okay.
And it's not the things that Apple used to sell before the smartphone where you loaded songs on it. An iPod basically is like an independent physician network where, say, I'll use an example here. Nashville, Tennessee has Vanderbilt. So if you had a Vanderbilt primary care doctor, what you were dealing with would have been like you could only go to Vanderbilt specialists. So even though St. Thomas, which is a different group of doctors, even though that they both take it, St. Thomas and Vanderbilt, you couldn't intermix the specialist from St. Thomas with a primary care from Vanderbilt. So I know I'm beating a dead horse here. If you're dealing with an agent that's looking up your doctors and your drugs, these are the types of things they definitely need to be aware of. And that raises me, you're kind of good segue to a situation where if you're running into problems with your Advantage plan in terms of networks, It could be like the plan that you're on isn't working with the doctor you had, and they didn't tell you in time. I've seen that happen. Or what Steve had to deal with, where he can't access his specialist for whatever reason. There are enrollment times, and we're in the middle of one. It started the first of the year. It extends to, ironically, April Fool's Day. So from January 1 to April 1, you can change your Advantage plan one time. So if you're running into that, or it could be any reason, honestly, but that would be a good reason to explore it. You can make one change from that period of time. If you make that choice, or you go beyond April 1st or to April 1st, at that point, whatever you signed up for, you have it for the remainder of the year. Does that make sense?
Yes. Do you like the Advantage plan?
I mean, when you say I'll just, me, I'm a straight shooter, Steve-O.
Yes.
It all is situational. It really depends on a person's situation and what their expectations are, what they expect, in terms of service. I will say Medicare with a supplement, which is the alternative to Advantage plans, I call those no muss, no fuss insurance, because you pay your premium, and then it really doesn't matter about networks, because as long as your provider takes Medicare, they're going to take your supplement.
Right.
But a lot of people can't afford a premium. Those also don't come with extra benefits. They don't come with drug plan included. They don't come with dental, vision, hearing. So those are the cons of doing that. So if you got a Medicare and a supplement, you're giving up certain things. However, with an Advantage plan, you're giving up different things. You're giving up the freedom to choose whatever doctor you want, whatever that means to you. To here in Tennessee, I'm in the middle Tennessee area, in Franklin specifically, which is a suburb of Nashville. We have a plentiful amount of doctors and hospitals around us. So Advantage plans are very easy to use compared to other parts of the state. So if you're in a rural area, it might be more difficult to use an Advantage plan. My own mom, she's on an Advantage plan. My mom's used her plan multiple times for surgeries and procedures. So I've seen how they actually work in the real world through my mother. Then I compare it to what I have. I am self-employed. I'm a self-employed individual. My wife is a stay-at-home mother. So that means we have to get insurance, not through her employer or my employer, but we have to take what either the ACA, which some call Obamacare, or we have to try to qualify for other health insurance by being underwritten. Well, major medical is what that's called. Major medical compared to Medicare Advantage, I would pay gladly. And I'll just tell you, I pay over $700 a month for my health insurance. I would gladly pay that amount for any Medicare Advantage plan, even the worst one. I would rather pay. So a lot of seniors don't realize how good they have it, is my point.
Right.
Medicare Advantage, at least even as flawed as it is, and it's flawed, is infinitely better than what I have access to as a self-employed person. I would love a Medicare Advantage plan, Steve-O, but I'm not eligible for Medicare for another 15 years. And that's if they don't change laws between now and then. So,
it's amazing.
Yes,
it's amazing how many agents I've talked to who said, I cannot wait to go on the Medicare plan. And that says a lot how good a plan it is. I must tell you, I was concerned about having to use the doctors that were in my area, but I have been so lucky. I've had a great orthopedic surgeon and some other specialists. So
would you replace a hip or something?
Had a hip replacement, had a knee replacement, some kidney problems, but every specialist I've used from the plan have been wonderful.
Yeah. So that's the thing of people get lost with the hype. You familiar with the Next Door online?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So like if you go to say Next Door, I get this an awful lot. Clients will go on Next Door and they'll villainize Medicare Advantage. They'll make it sound like it's the worst deal of all time.
Wow.
And people will call me who I have on a Medicare Advantage plan. They're like, why'd you put me on this?
Yes.
And I have to sit there and I'm like, listen, Mrs. Smith, I did the best thing for you for your circumstance. We did. So whenever I meet with somebody, I do a needs analysis. That way, like I have a set of questions that I'll ask them to try to figure out what they're looking for versus what's available. So it's kind of analytical in that sense. But I'll also talk to them. So I use, I'll analyze data and I'll talk to them as a person. And I'll just kind of figure out, hey, what would this person, what's their risk threshold, if I may use a technical term. Like if a person is risk averse and they have money and they really don't like networks, I know that person's probably going to want a Medicare supplement. If a person's like, well, it's very much similar to my work insurance and networks don't freak me out. And furthermore, my doctor's in the network of this plan that you're showing me. And I don't mind paying copays if I use it, but I like saving money if I don't. Then I know that person probably likes Medicare Advantage. So like these are the types of things that I figure out with each person. So back to my point about Next Door, people will go on there and they'll be like, it'll be one person had a bad experience. Well, I don't know. I don't care who you are. If you're dealing with an insurance company, none of them are perfect. They all screw up. Even Medicare supplement companies screw up. All that to say is if you have an agent, what I do is I'm also like customer service.
Yes.
If you have a problem, you can call me. And even if I can't directly solve it, I could point you in the right direction or be your advocate, if that makes sense. So when people make Advantage sound like the devil, it's not the devil. It really isn't. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But it has a place. You know what I mean? And a big place. So when I started in 2010, I was about half supplements, half Advantage. And I'll just tell you flat out, like when I'm meeting with somebody, I don't care what they get. I want them to get the best plan for them, truly. If I keep them at the forefront of my mind, they're going to be my client for a long time, provided I service them the way I should. And I always do my best to do that. So I feel like I'm just running on and on over here.
No, Randy, you know what? That's one of the things that I really loved when we first started talking. You brought up customer service. And I've learned that how important customer service is when it comes to Medicare. And I got to tell you, that's why I love directing people your way, because first of all, folks, you got to get an agent. Don't try to do this on your own. And second of all, the customer service end is so important. And that's what I love about Randy's company, that customer service is very important to you.
Absolutely. In fact, I might care too much sometimes. I'm trying to solve a problem with a guy right now. Nothing he or I can do about it. It's just the process of it, red tape, that kind of thing. And like, it's stressing me out, and I know I shouldn't let it stress me out, but like, how do you turn off empathy? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
How do you just like, I don't have it in me not to care. I would probably live longer if I had it in me.
Get rid of the stress.
But the other thing, if I've had a lot of people contacting me this year saying, hey, I'm having a hard time getting through to this company. And I'm here to tell you guys, if you're experiencing that, if like the standards of customer service seem lower than they used to be, it's not you. I mean, this is what I'm hearing out there in the world, and what I'm experiencing firsthand is because Medicare Advantage isn't as profitable as it used to be. I feel like these companies, they're outsourcing their customer service more and more. And it's it's aggravating. So, and the thing is, I'm here, I feel your pain, and I'm here to help you through that. There's nothing we can do to solve it directly. All we can do is try to work with what we've got and make the most of it.
We're in a new enrollment period now. Explain that.
Well, so it's called open enrollment. So what you can do with open enrollment is, if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan currently, if you need to change for whatever reason, or just want to, you can change one time from now until April 1st. If you're on Medicare supplement, you can't do anything. You can't change your drug plan from, so say if you're on Medicare supplement and you have a drug plan, you can't do anything until the next annual election period. If you're on a Medicare Advantage and you want to get on a supplement, what you can do is you can go back on original Medicare, but you don't want to give up your Advantage plan until a supplement company approves you. And if you go from Advantage to Medicare and the supplement, you can get a drug plan. So those are the two ways you could take advantage of it, the open enrollment time. So,
Randy, you know what, the show goes by so fast. I know so many more questions. The good thing is you're going to be back again with us next month. Tell people who are listening on radio right now how they can reach you, because we're scrolling your information on YouTube.
Right down here.
Yeah.
Always the best way is to call or text me at 615-578-5174. That's going to be directly to me. If you prefer email, randywhall@yahoo.com. I do have a business email, but ironically, that one that I just gave you is more reliable, it seems, than my business email. Don't know why. I've tried several of them. Always the Yahoo from back in the day, 30 years ago, always seems to be the most reliable. So,
Randy, by the letters we're getting now, and I know a lot of it's because of the show, and we're going to talk about this on the next show. People want to know when they should start getting ready to get involved with Medicare. At what age, and what do they need to do? And I'm so glad we've got you, Randy. Again, you'll be back again with us next month. Randy, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon.
Stay warm out there, Steve-O. Always a pleasure.
Okay, bro. My brother with the same barber.
That's right. My bald brother.
Love you, bro. Okay, that's it for us today. Listen, if you're getting ready to go on Medicare, give Randy a call. That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.